The Torah portion's name is Achrei Mot, because the whole Torah portion is an answer to what happened to the Torah portion before. It's a prescription, it's a medicine for what happened the Torah portion before. Achrei Mot. It means after their death. It's the death of Aaron's sons. This is a SIG 365. There's no magazine in it, don't worry. Is that God? Because the path we're going down and what this Torah portion teaches us is we have a choice. That can be God or this can be God. Nowhere in between. And if you didn't realize it, if you haven't gotten it through your heads, now is the time to get serious. This Torah portion comes on the heels of hundreds of law enforcement having to shut down, let's be clear, domestic terrorists who have been funded, who have, what's come out in the last 48 hours is astounding. The credit cards that have been tied together, the instructions that went out to over 200 universities about how to make weapons, how to make shields. 30-year-old men, not students, carrying these. Not that one. This Torah portion says there is a choice that we each have. And we are at that crux, in case you haven't realized it by looking at the news. How many of you have recognized this over the last couple of weeks especially? You have a daughter in college, of course you have. How many of you have children or grandchildren in college and are aware of this? How many of you are aware of the hate that's been going on? Attending a university like UCLA or Columbia and it not being safe to go into its library during finals week. You know, the video that was so, it said it all. These useful idiots at Columbia, one of them, they'd taken over Hamilton Hall. The police came and broke it up in the middle of the night, pulled them out in riot gear. And one of them is screaming, "I just want to go home and study for finals." Literally, this is what this kid is screaming, who had been breaking through windows and everything else. How did we get to this place? Achrei Mot, after their death. You think it's not going to happen the way the world is going? Someone's going to get killed on a college campus, aren't they, at this rate? Unless something changes. God forbid, but it is in God's hand. Again, do we worship this, or do we worship what's inside there? Do we worship Torah and God? Achrei Mot. Remember, I said that this Torah portion is about giving the medicine so that we wouldn't have the problem of those two sons of Aaron having died. The medicine is very, very simple. What is this Torah portion about? Personal responsibility. It is all about personal responsibility. It begins talking about Day of Atonement. How we each have a job to do for ourselves, our families, our communities. Only the Kohen Gadol would go into the Holy of Holies. We each have to make tshuva. Recognize what we did, apologize for it, and make rectification. Fix it. Because here's the reality. If we don't, it gets worse and worse, doesn't it? I have a quote here from Winston Churchill that Bob Kilpatrick sent me weeks ago. If you will not fight for the right when you can easily win without, if you will not fight for what is right when you can easily win without bloodshed, if you will not fight when your victory will be sure and not too costly, you may come to the moment when you will have to fight with all the odds against you and only a precarious chance of survival. God forbid there may even be a worse case. You may have to fight when there is no hope of victory because it is better to perish than to live as slaves. We didn't pay attention to the medicine that this Torah portion taught over the last decades, have we? All of us. We didn't teach our children enough personal responsibility. We coddled them, we spoiled them because we love them so much, right? Right? As a parent, anything you would do for our kids, right? Do it in a heartbeat. But you have all these kids on college campuses who have no sense of ramifications, do they? No sense of repercussions. And so they act out. As opposed to what this Torah portion said. You have a responsibility. You screwed up, fix it. Fix it. If you screwed up, you admit it and you fix it. True or false? Any mistake we can make pretty much that any of us can imagine making. As long as you admit it, you pretty much can fix it, can't it? Pretty much can be fixed, can't they? There are only a few that cannot. Murder, rape, idolatry. Okay, those are the three that we talk about. Murder, rape, idolatry. And Lashon Hara in a different way. Pretty much, if something's wrong, if you take responsibility, it can get better, can't it? Worst thing is to lie about it, ignore it, act like there's no repercussions. That's the worst thing, isn't it? And look what it's gotten us. It's gotten us a sign that says, queer Jews for Palestine.
I wish they'd go there.
Yeah, they went there, they'd be beheaded, God forbid. Twice. And then they'd probably do it again just to make sure. We haven't done our job of teaching our children. That's for all of us. And when I don't just mean our personal children, I mean the next generations, the door. What are we obligated to do? What are we blessed to be able to do? What do we need to do? Because if they don't learn, they won't be prepared, will they? If they don't learn, this will become God. Let's make no bones about it. If the younger generations don't get their act together, learn the repercussions, learn about responsibility, we can be pretty much guaranteed that people are going to be worshiping to this and not to Torah camp. God forbid. True or false? So what do we need to do? Just pay attention to this Torah portion. That's really it. You know, we always get the medicine. Sometimes we get it right after it happens. We need to atone for ourselves. We need to fix things. We take responsibility. Someone comes to you and says, hey, Stan, I messed up. You going to try to help me fix it? Will you help me? Sure. You will try, right? Alex may not. But what's your shirt say today? I can't remember your shirt say. It's weird being the same age as old people. Okay. That's a very peaceful shirt for you. So, right? Isn't that the case, though? Emmanuel and I have had interactions with someone who did take responsibility. Okay? We always will give them an opportunity to fix things, wouldn't we? With anybody. We need to give opportunities for people to fix things, and we need to teach them we need to fix things, both in ourselves and in our lives. That's the Day of Atonement part. We need to be clear on our relationships and not be like animals in their relationships. This is the Torah portion that has to do with illicit relationships, which are all about power. Okay? There's an inequality of power. And those are all forbidden. Okay? A priest should not be with a congregant. A rabbi should not be with a congregant. A student should not be with a teacher should not be with a student. A professor should not be with a student. A therapist should not be with a client. Can we all agree on that? These are just not healthy relationships. You know what I found fascinating on all the videos that I was watching? How many, I taught at a university for years, okay? I will tell you that the first thing I did in every class, Allison came into class, the first class. Remember, I always would forget something so they could see I was in love and married to a beautiful woman. So I became Uncle Rabbi and Aunt Allison. It's creepy that there are a bunch of guys in their 30s who are assistant professors walking around cooler than Joe Cool with these kids and these encampments. Does anyone else think that's a little creepy? You're a student, is that kind of, it's kind of creepy to me. I'm not saying anyone's, it's just not, it's just weird. It's not kosher, exactly. Kasher, I mean, it's not. So it's about relationships. Their relationships should be with people where there's an equality of power. And then, you know what it ends up talking about at the end? Does anyone remember what I said you could do? I said this a number of weeks ago. I said, what the first thing you could do that would make a difference in this world. Does anyone remember what I said? Keep kosher. Right? And we talked about all the different reasons. Just don't eat, I'm not saying you have to keep God kosher. Just don't eat non-kosher meat. Who wants an insect from the sea? What does this Torah portion end with? What animals can and can't be eaten. Isn't that interesting? The medicine is provided, but we have to get real. We are at a turning point. Either we will take responsibility, future generations will take responsibility because they'll find that this actually has the guidelines and that we want to take care of each other. Or, God forbid, this will become the idol. Make no bones about it, what's going on these college campuses is that trying to make this the idol. Whoever's loudest, strongest, most violent. Our ally is God. We need to stick with our ally. And we need to teach our children. Our physical children, our physical grandchildren, but everyone's children. We need to teach. Hear that they are upset, but also teach to bring peace. Teach them what's right, what's wrong. Let them teach us with their dreams, but we need to teach them with boundaries as well. Aaron's sons died not because their dreams were not beautiful, because their dreams were beautiful. They wanted to be as holy as the Kohen Gadol. They died because they didn't understand boundaries. We need to teach, we need to learn. My prayer for all of us, I don't mean just the people in this room and our families, but all of us in this country and world, is that we start to realize and teach properly. Because if we did, no one would accept what happened on October 7th. No one in the world would have. May we all learn, may we all teach, and may our God always be found in the words of Torah, and never, God forbid, in something like this.